And so our whole college preparation went back to storytelling and this whole idea of stories and place. And so, stories became the whole curriculum for how we operated. As we sit in class, we created the whole Llano Grande program. Our kids would sit in class, they learn about each other, they tell stories about each other, they write their own personal narratives, and they become completely empowered because, they're forming their identity. They're learning about the history of their community. They're becoming engaged in their community. As the kids go out into the community and they're interviewing their grandparents, and they're interviewing elders, and they're creating these research-based projects, all of a sudden these kids are becoming owners of their own story. They feel this ownership of the community that they live in. And so no longer were kids just going away to college and graduating, but then staying far away. They wanted to come back home, just like I did. After I graduated, I wanted to go back home because I knew that I had a stake there. And so our whole Llano Grande process is based on those three components. The idea of stories, the idea of relationships, and the idea of community.
I'm a part of the Llano Grande organization, and one of the things that we believe in is that everyone has a story to tell, and we should take the time to listen to those stories. I feel that we can learn something new from every single person we meet. It also helps build a relationship and also helps establish a sense of trust.
Relationships in Edcouch-Elsa are very important to everybody because we really depend on each other for things like coming together during hard times.
The connection between storytelling and reality has helped me craft the direction to a higher education.
For example, if a family or in the community needs help paying for a funeral, or if somebody is sick in the family and they're in the hospital, the community really comes together, and there's a real sense of unity.
Community and education go hand in hand. Learning begins in our community. Our community has so much history that some residents don't know about it. Llano Grande helps us discover those great things. Llano Grande is an organization based out of Edcouch-Elsa High School. It's a small, non-profit organization that helps students learn about their community.
And one of the stories I wanted to share is about a man that I really admire and I have the utmost respect for, which is my grandpa. His name is Cosme Gonzalez. His story is kind of like, it's a humble beginning story. He started off in Mexico and then they moved over here in search of a better life. This is the land of opportunity. They come over here. He ends up in California doing field work, where he meets her grandma later on. And they get married and they have kids. And they have 8 kids. And they're there. They have to pick grapes. It's hard work, hard labor.
A community is like a classroom. We learn from each other and have many great stories to tell. I believe that if we have a strong school, we have a strong community.
He's a guy who would get on his knees to play marbles with me, and he helped me make my first slingshot. But yeah, I think it's because of him that I think his struggles make my problems in life seem smaller, and everything's easier. I just want to, thank him. Because of him, all of his kids, they all went to college. They're all successful.
But a lot of this is actually built upon the relationships that we have with organizations around the country that do similar work and who have extremely powerful stories themselves. And we've been very honored to work with these people because they've only enriched, the work that we do.
What we need is people to listen to us, people that care. We need a lot of parents involved, because some of the reasons why we're dropping out of school is because our parents want us to work. Our parents want to kick us out. Our parents don't want to listen, don't want to be involved. And we need involvement. We need people who care. We need people to show us that they're there for us, that we can change. We are the future.
Hello, Kako. Hello. My name is Samuel Kamuela Kahe Uhivayo Kanalu Paole Bar, and I am from Hawaii. So I'm here representing the Native Hawaiians as well as Polynesians, my people back home in Hawaii.
Native Americans in general depend on their strong ties with each other, and it's what keeps us going strong. And if we don't have that in the classroom, then we won't be able to have many Native American students graduating. If we have more interaction with the teachers and students together, there will be more Native American students graduating. But there was also, in my experience, one teacher who actually did care, and she would go to my other teachers and she would talk to them, and she would see how I was doing in my classes and check on my grades and see if I actually went to class. And after a while, I started to. I stopped skipping class, my grades started to improve, and I'm doing homeschool now. And a lot of this has really taught me something about being Native American and actually having a chance to graduate high school and go to college. Because a lot of people I know didn't. They are either addicted to drugs, in prison, or dead. And that's not a place where I would like to be one day.
At the age of 12, I moved out of my, I was raised by my grandma. I moved out of my grandma's house and I got the opportunity to move with my dad. He came out of prison, so we moved to California. And then living there, I felt disconnected from Hawaii. So I moved back home and I was homeless for a little while, but you know, that's okay. My sister let me live with her. I was paying her rent through my job at McDonald's. 16 years old, I already started working. And then at the age of 18, I noticed that my brother was on the streets. He was homeless and he already had a son. So I didn't want my nephew or, you know, my brother to experience that or go through that life struggles. My nephew would always tell me like, oh, uncle, like, I like go home with you, I like go home with you. So, you know, that really hurt me to see my nephew, you know, crying out to me. So I moved on my own and I invited them to live with me.
My parents didn't graduate high school because my mom is also a teenage mother, or she was. And she had to drop out of high school to be able to provide for me and my 6 brothers and sisters. And I know that's hard for her because I can just see how she struggles. And this is why I promised myself that I would graduate high school and I would go to college so I'm able to provide for them like they have done for me for all these years. Being in Mi'kazi, this Native American women's group, has really motivated me to keep this promise and to be successful in my life.
After high school, I got the opportunity to join Ma'o Organic Farms, which is a farm up Lolole Valley in Hawaii. And their mission is to grow organic vegetables as well as young adults, empowering them to be the leaders of the community. You know, although we face so much negative stereotypes and the problems in the community, we have to learn through the struggles throughout our community and gain something positive out of that. You know, although, you know, there's so much going on, you know, it just, I guess, motivates me in a way.
I think this story, just learning from my grandpa, that's what drove me to come here. In relationships, that's with the family and the community, that's key in education. And I think the community, the Llano Grande, my family, they're kind of your crutches to get to college. You know, you depend on them for a lot of support. And that's what education is. It's just these 3 factors. That's what it should be. It's not confined to just a school. It's the community, it's the people in the community, it's everyone who supports you. And that's what education should be. That's what every kid should experience in their school. They should get a taste of this.